Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Dobby.
And I'm Matthew Fling.
And this is the final edition of the first season of Inside the Pylon.
Oh yeah, oh boy, this shit banging.
So guys, before we get to this episode, we have some groundbreaking news to let you guys know about. Matthew has been let go from Dobby Does It. And this will be his last time appearing on any show.
Making my own channel.
What's it called?
Dobby Doesn't Do It.
No, but for real, this will be our final edition of Inside the Pylon. Our first season coming to a close. Simply because there's just a lot of dead period from now to the next start of next season. So as soon as the next season starts, that will be the start of season 2. Obviously, we did start at the beginning of off season, so not necessarily the best timeline, but we will be back, later this year with more of that. But that won't be the end of us, obviously. Matthew will be appearing on a lot of different shows besides this one. If you haven't seen him on other shows, make sure you go check out our recent videos. Him and our director, Talon, were doing they did an episode back then. It was pretty funny, I'd say that. But this episode obviously is concerning what happened last week. The draft, a lot of crazy things happened, as all drafts usually do. Although I will say, I don't feel like there was a lot of controversy in this draft. You didn't see anybody...
Couple picks, but not many.
A little bit, but not anybody majorly. Like, in past years we've had, Tunsil, Gasman situation, who was, number 1 prospect available, drops all the way to 13th. You had, Lael Collins, you remember that one? The LSU guard who ended up with the Cowboys. He was a projected first rounder, came out that he was somehow tied into, this murder case. He wasn't. Literally fell out of the draft.
That's a lot of money, dude.
That is a lot of money. He lost millions, but I think he had an insurance policy. But in this draft, you had a couple players that slid, like Fields, kind of, I guess, but there really just wasn't controversy at all. I don't think.
Couple picks, like I said, when we look at the Bengals pick, you really go out and get.
Trust me, I'm gonna get into the Bengals.
That's what I'm saying. There's a couple picks.
Oh, bro.
Trey Lance at 3. I'm not sure how I feel about that either. So we'll get into it.
Bengals. Why? Anyway, so let's recap a little bit. Obviously, the big name came off the board, number 1 overall, Trevor Lawrence. That was kind of expected. Draft kind of followed his suit through number 2 with Zach Wilson. Things took a turn at 3. We had Trey Lance come in. You guys saw it live. That kind of shocked everybody because nobody knew who San Fran was going with. And then the rest of the draft kind of just was filling out based on what happened with that pick. After that pick, it set the tone for everything else in the draft. So I felt it was really interesting. I was hooked on round 1. My Dolphins had 2 picks. Knocked them out the park. So let's go ahead and go through it, Matt. Give us your best drafts of any teams. Your top 3 drafts.
Top 3. Well, I'm pretty sure we both got the same exact.
That's
right.
Top 3. It was funny because we actually discussed this before the show. We came up, separately, individually, on what we felt was the best 3. It just so happened that they literally were the exact same 3 teams.
So we both agreed that Miami Dolphins, Chicago Bears, and the New York Jets, top 3.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not even being biased about this or being that type of person. Miami, literally, I felt like had the best draft of anybody.
And this is one of the best drafts that they've had in a long time, too.
It's not even just they've been drafting really well recently, but I feel like not every pick, once you get to the later rounds.
Yeah, but no, the first couple picks were all
Waddle, you know what I mean? Smith was on the board, so I could be maybe they should have taken Smith, but I thought Waddle has the higher ceiling, especially with the concerns about his frame.
And Saban even said that Waddle's the best he's ever seen going into his break and then accelerating out of his break.
He's ridiculous.
And that's coming from Nick Saban.
A lot of people get compared to Tyreek Hill, but I feel like Waddle to Tyreek is actually a legitimate comparison of what his skill set does. I like that. Waddle was a home run. Jalen Phillips was an absolute steal at 18. And he came out of the U, baby. We did it. We finally drafted someone from the crib again. Super excited about that. And he's wearing number 15.
And they went and got 2 offensive tackles, too. I think that was
good. They got 2 offensive tackles. And then the Javon Holland pick, he would have been the number 1 safety if he didn't opt out this year.
Yeah.
He's that good. He had 9 picks in 2 seasons. Absolute ball hawk playmaker. Probably my favorite draft, obviously, because it's my own team. Talk about the Bears a little bit, though. What happened with them?
I am so happy for the organization getting Justin Fields. what a steal they got. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about Justin Fields. I think his ceiling can be so high. I mean, it could be all the way to the stars, the moon, and back. Wow. And then they would go out and get Tevin Jenkins, too, right, to protect him, bro. And I mean, I just really happy with them. They went back-to-back. They got Larry Borden, too, another good offensive tackle. And it's just like, this team could be scary. They already had a really good defense. Their offense wasn't too good.
Man, Tevin, bro, I was literally, during the draft, because I was in a party with a couple of different people. So we were talking about it. I'm like, damn, that Justin Fields pick is a steal. I'm like, now they got to protect him. Go get a guy, go protect him.
What did they do? They went
and then they got the best that was left on the board.
Exactly.
Tevin Jenkins, stellar offensive tackle.
And then they also got a not bad receiver later in the round, Daz Newsome from NC.
Oh, yeah, Daz Newsome. Oh, my God.
I've watched some film on him.
The North Carolina receivers, I know personally because I've watched them play against Miami. Daz Newsome, that's a stud. That's a stud.
And they got him later in the round, too.
Absolutely
I think
great
their
pick.
draft was fire.
Oof. And then I'll talk about the Jags for a second here. Everybody knows what they did first round. Drafting Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne together. Putting a duo like that was dynamic as they were in college. I feel like, you know what I mean? Not only did they get the number one prospects in the draft and maybe the best couple drafts.
You got Jags. I got Jets.
Oh, you got the Jets.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, I thought you had Jets, yeah.
Oh, man. That's interesting. Why'd you pick the Jets?
Well, I love Zach Wilson, and then they went and got them some offensive linemen too, and then I think they went 3 safeties. That's a little much, but they really went and because, I mean, dude, they were getting exposed all year in their defensive backfield. They went and got some safeties, got corner.
By the way, the Jets, by the way, I love Elijah Moore.
Yeah. Elijah
Moore, I think, was a first-round talent at receiver.
That's another stud. And then who did they get? Alaverde, right?
Yeah. Oh, the tackle that they traded up for?
Yep.
Fantastic.
That's what I'm saying.
Then they got both the Michael Carters, the running back in the corner.
That's what I'm saying.
Beautiful pick with Michael
Carter.
Carter.
They went good right on the offense. They got their quarterback, someone to protect him, someone to get the ball to, and then they went real heavy on their defensive backfield, which was probably their weakest unit they had on their team last year.
Yeah, no, for sure. Me personally, I chose the Jags because, again, you got the best player that was available in the entire draft. You pair him up with the second best running back that was on the board, Travis Etienne. Again, they were a dynamic duo.
That's a beast.
Great duo. And then on top of that I liked a lot of their other picks too, like Walker Little late. Great tackle coming out of there from Stanford. Then you have Tyson Campbell, who he has a really high potential. He just really hasn't lived up to it through college. He was a 5-star prospect coming out. He's a good player, though, great corner. And then Andre Cisco out of Syracuse. That was a stellar safety pick for his league as they got him. He's going to be a dude in the NFL. I really do believe that. Overall, I felt like their draft pretty much hit every mark that they needed on their team. So I felt like that was why. So let's talk about the worst drafts. Before you even say a word, I'm going to tell you guys why I think this is the worst draft in the draft. It was the Bengals. The Bengals were idiots. How the hell do you play this scenario? You have Joe Burrow, who was sacked, 58 times in 11 starts?
I think he was also pressured 70% of his dropbacks.
And not even to mention, his injury, that ACL, the season-ending injury that he had, was literally because his own offensive lineman pushed the defensive end or defensive tackle into his knee.
I'm right there with you on this.
How do you go into this draft
and say, we want a receiver?
You know what I mean? They have T. Higgins. They have, who's the other one that came out of Pitt? Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd, yeah.
How the hell do you pick a receiver? Don't get me wrong. This pick being, again, I'll get into what I think about that pick specifically later, but how do you go into this draft? And no knock on Jamar Chase. He was the best pure receiver on the board. Pass catcher probably Kyle Pitts. Great pick, Falcons, by the way. But how do you go in there and be like,
I have no idea.
We have protection issues. We don't have great tackles. We don't have great guards. And you take a receiver.
And what's the worst thing is that Joe can be their franchise quarterback. He can be that dude for them.
That was I saw it on Twitter. I have the meme saved in my thing. It was literally how can if you draft a receiver basically, but you have no O lineman,
can't get him.
You can't get him the damn ball. I'd rather have a receiver who can't catch the ball, or you know what I mean, lesser of a chance of it than not being able to even get that ball out in the first place. How is he going to catch it if you don't give him a chance?
And Joe was looking good, even though he was getting sacked that much and pressured. He still wasn't doing bad.
I will say he did have the worst deep ball. He's not good throwing the deep ball right now. He needs refinement on that. But that's
you need time too.
That's more. He got no time to get it off. That was just a horrible pick. And then the thing that was funny to me is then they went in the second round and they reached. Then they tried to make up for their pick with the tackle Jackson Carman out of Clemson, but by then it was like you could have had Penei Sewell, the generational offensive tackle prospect. Instead, you settled for a reach in the second round because at this point, and you know the thing that really pissed me off, there was so much wide receiver depth that they didn't even need to take Chase.
Yeah,
they could have sat and got Elijah Moore second round like the Jets did.
Yep.
Stupid Bengals. You're stupid. Go ahead, though. Tell us about your worst
I'll
pick.
go with one. We'll go back and forth.
Correct.
So, started off, I picked the Seahawks, and just the simple fact that they only had 3 picks this whole draft. I mean, you can't do too much with only 3 picks, you know? I mean, the 3 picks weren't bad, but, I mean, you only had 3 picks, man. That's got to be my bottom.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. For me, the next team that comes onto my list is the Ravens. I might get some flack for this because I'll say this: I loved the Rashad Bateman pick, the receiver coming out of I think Illinois, I think. But Minnesota actually. Bateman came out of Minnesota, but the problem is after that they went ahead and they took Owa, who has the pass rusher that had no sacks out of Penn State last year.
None
in the second round. It's I don't believe that defensive ends should be drafted that highly.
Not in any.
Just based on
if he was a tackle or something, then maybe cause a double team or something.
Yeah,
but
he ran a 4.4, but I don't feel like 4.4 should get you.
If you're not getting around that block.
But you know what I mean? People say different things about him. Say that he got there, he got those pressures on, he just didn't finish it. But if you can't finish it, what does it matter?
Not getting that much money
because the quarterback's still getting the ball off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. At the end of the day, so even
I
if
don't
you
care
get
how
close, you don't
that's what we talked about not too long ago when we talked about how much do we buy into these pro days and these drafts.
Exactly.
Run the 4.4. You run a 4.4, but you got an offensive lineman you can't get around, or the quarterback's still getting the ball off. Your defensive end, your main thing is pass rush.
I agree, honestly. So go ahead and give us your other one. But besides Owa, I just wasn't a fan of the Shaun Wade pick. He was terrible last year for Ohio State. Though I'll give him credit, again, the receivers, they knocked it out of the park, Tylan Wallace. I just felt like it was one of the lesser drafts because of how bad the second round draft pick was.
I then go into the Texans. Man, this whole organization is just, I'm sorry, but it's falling apart. They need to do something quick.
Hold on. They drafted my boy Brevin Jordan. It was a late pick, but he's a stud. That was an absolute steal of a pick. And you got to give him some credit because, don't get me wrong, Davis Mills isn't a superstar quarterback, but they basically had to draft because of what's going on with Boston.
Yeah, I know, but what'd you fall for? Sanford quarterback, right? That's where he's from?
Yeah, Stanford.
But,
he's a solid guy, too. There's a chance that he does.
Yeah, there's a small chance, but I'm saying not everyone. I didn't really care for any of their picks, really. I mean, just...
I can't believe you're knocking my boy Brevin. Why?
I'm sorry. It's just... I don't know. Looking at everybody, I just really don't think... Okay, even if so, they had one good pick.
Right, you're right. And it was a fifth-round pick.
I was reading all of them. I didn't really care for them. Yeah. I think they could have probably gotten some better players. They could have gone for some trades or something, but...
losing their first and second round pick to the Dolphins really screwed them.
But, I mean, it's just... Yeah, exactly. They also didn't have that, so... Just think it was pretty weak.
It did hurt them a lot. And so then my last one, I think it's pretty obvious in a consensus among fans, the Packers. Another year, not getting Aaron Rodgers, a first-round talent at receiver, or even a good one. Don't get me wrong, they had a couple people that they drafted for the O-line. It's solid, but at the end of the day, you just need to get Aaron Rodgers some weapons.
Not making him happy.
Yeah, why piss him off even more? It came out before the draft that he doesn't want to play in Green Bay. Why piss off one of the
Which
best
I didn't like that, by the way. He could have waited to say that, but he made it kind of all about himself on that. Because there were some kids that got drafted, and instead of having all of the hype on them, that we're sitting there talking about Aaron Rodgers.
What I'll say is this, too. You don't know necessarily if Aaron intended that for it to come out at that time because you know how reporters are. Yeah. As soon as that draft gets close to coverage, they will throw anything that gets them clicks, and Adam Schefter has done this many times. Although I'm not going to knock Schefter. He's the best.
No, Schefter always... I mean, for him, it's whenever he hears something, he posts it, and that's his job,
No, I know, but I feel like they do withhold some information at least until they feel like they're going to get the most views and attention for it. So that kind of plays a factor into it. But wrap us up here with your last one.
I did the Raiders. I only liked one pick out of their whole thing. They reached a lot, in my opinion.
Well, here's what I'll say. It's really weird that they did this too. Basically, with Merrick and whatnot, the offensive lineman they took in the first round would have been there in the second.
That's what I'm saying. That was the reach.
And then Merrick literally was a first-round talent. So
it kind of worked out for them, and
it
Merrick's
worked
the
out,
only one that I like out of that whole pick. Because, like I said, they picked up another offensive lineman, and that was a reach. And I
don't feel like they really filled what they needed after what they did in the offseason.
I think they were just blindly drafted almost at a point,
I don't even know if they needed to take a safety since they took Abram.
One of my favorite safeties in this league, bro. I love.
Really, best young safeties? Wow.
Dude, just how he comes out and hits. That man doesn't care about nothing. He just wants to hurt people out there, and that's why I love in safety. It reminds me of like Ed Reed coming downhill. I'm not saying ball skills, but I'm just saying coming down, just laying the wood on somebody. Or if he doesn't get hurt, he's got a high ceiling, man.
Sorry, Hector, your team blew it. The Raiders suck
Hank.
again. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Thanks for watching our videos. Leave a like.
Yeah, we love you still. Still my way.
We're also trying to get you on the show. Get on here. So, to wrap us up here, we're going to do our favorite picks of the night and our worst picks of the night. Just wait. We'll save that one for last. So, let's start off with the favorite picks. My favorite pick of the night, maybe people don't really agree, and I'll give us a little bit of an explanation to this, was Penny Sewell to the Lions. Now, people were like, oh, well, I mean, he kind of just fell to him, whatever. I like what they're doing over there because the way they're building their team right now, they have Goff for the moment. But, they have him under contract. I don't know exactly if it's like 2 years left or however many he has in his deal, but their offensive line now looks like it's a top 5 offensive line in the league, and they're young. Add that with the fact that they're still building on their defense. They're building now the receiving core. They have a young running back in there. They're in a position where I feel like they're building momentum towards, in a couple years when they find out who they want for their quarterback prospect, he can come in and they can just literally take it off to a playoff season.
I like that.
They could be contenders right away. So I think that pick for the future will end up being one of the best picks, especially since he was one of the, if not the best, besides Trevor Lawrence, on the board in totality.
So my favorite pick is the man himself, Justin
Pat
Fields.
McAfee? Oh.
Justin Fields. I really think, they made the playoffs last year with Trubisky and Nick Foles flip-flopping it back. And I'm not saying this year, but they have a good squad.
I love that pick,
and
too.
I really think Justin could be the man to take the Bears to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that he wins that, but knowing that they were a playoff team last year with very inconsistent quarterback play, if he can come in there and play well these next couple of years, man, the Bears, that's a team to watch out for.
Yeah, no, I'll say it, Bears fans, you should be celebrating.
I'd be still celebrating
every night
right
until
now.
the season starts, because that was absolutely probably the best moment of the draft.
I was screaming. I'm not even a Bears fan. I was at the bar screaming, across to people. Dude, I was so happy for Justin, man.
Yeah. My least favorite pick, I talked about it. How much more do I got to say? Jamar Chase. Jamar, it's got nothing to do with you. You're a generational talent in my eyes. You were the best receiving prospect in this draft. I absolutely love his skill set and his fit on any single team but the Bengals. Yep. It just makes no sense. There was just no reason for them to take the Bengals to take him there. I hate that pick. I don't like what it says for their future. I don't like what it says for their decision-making among their front office.
Yep.
I think they're complete idiots for that. And what they did for the rest of the draft, that was my least favorite pick of the entire night. Maybe the past couple of drafts. Didn't like it.
I'd say almost the same, but I'm going to go a little different. I really don't like that pick either. But here it comes. You ready? The first overall pick, Trevor Lawrence.
TJ. What a nice idiot! Oh, what a loser!
The door's right there.
Yeah, that's where Trevor needs to go.
No. You can leave right now. You should probably just D-Mike and get the fuck out of here because I'm sick and tired. What is your problem with Trevor?
I just don't.
What is wrong with you?
It's just, I don't know. I can't really just come out there and say I just got a feeling. You just get a feeling about things.
No.
He's not He's not the franchise guy everyone thinks he is.
My hair looks like shit now because you
4 wins next year. I'm calling it. Jaguars, 4 wins.
Well, guys, we really hope you enjoyed this season of Inside the Pylon. We really enjoyed filming it for you. Be sure next season. We have other off-season stuff coming away for the NFL. But again, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share the video. We're closing in on 100 subscribers. Help us get there. We love you. See you next season.